Hello, everyone. Welcome to RCRC. That is the Relationship Connection with Ronald and Charlie, where we equip, empower, and educate couples on how to thrive in their relationship through candid conversations right here on this platform. I am Charlie Willis, a mental health therapist.
I'm Ronald Willis, a marriage and family therapist. And today we'll be talking about leadership in men and why there's such a disconnect. But before we do this, let's watch this clip.
So, I've been thinking about
Go ahead.
us getting a new car.
New car for what?
You know, not new, but trade my car in.
There's nothing wrong with your car you got now. Why you want another car?
Car is 10 years old.
So what? It gets you to point A to point B, don't it? And it's a nice car.
Now when we're gonna go out of town, we always gotta rent a car.
We rent a car because we choose to rent a car, not because we have to rent a car. It makes sense to rent a car. You don't put all the miles on your car.
Okay, but I still need a new car. You know, they say if your car is 10 years older, you should get another car. You know, have one more current. You know.
I don't know who they is, but in this household, they is wrong. We're not getting another car.
Why not?
Charlie, we're not getting another car because we can't afford another car.
Are you kidding me? That's why we trade the car in. You get some money off.
That doesn't cover the monthly payments, and we have no monthly payments for a car now.
I'm getting another car. Car's in my name. I'm getting a car.
No, we're not. You're not getting another car. No, we're not.
What?
No, we're not getting another car.
I'm getting a new car. Trading this car in. Car's in my name. I should be able to trade the car in.
For one thing, you don't tell me what you're gonna do. I'm in charge. I'm the leader. I have the final say so. And the final say so says we are not getting another car. Got it?
So, wow, there was a lot in that clip.
It was a lot. That was a lot of conversation that really didn't go anywhere. There was some disrespect going on. And definitely, there was a lack of leadership. Definitely was.
Yes.
And, just looking at that clip, it may look like there was not a lack of leadership, but when we start understanding what is leadership, we can clearly see that. One of the things that I saw was the failure on bringing in your thoughts, your ideas, and your feelings. All I thought was about my thoughts and my ideas that you got a car. It's 10 years old, but it's a good car. It's a nice car, so you don't need a car. But that's my thoughts. That's not yours.
That's right. So there was definitely we didn't discuss the situation first. Both parties, I believe, right then at that time, just really showed self.
Right. And that was telling one person, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And that does not work. Not at all. So there was another aspect of it where, the final word got thrown out there. This is it. This is what we're going to do. And I don't hear anything else about it. Right. And that is not the type of leadership that a man should be displaying, to his partner. And, one of the things that, you want to do as a man, you want to be able to, listen and then understand what is being conveyed to you. Then it's not about your feelings when your partner is talking, it's about their feelings. Their feelings from yours is different. So you're going to be able to listen and understand what is their feelings about it. Because my feelings about it, I didn't really care. Right. As long as you got a car going to point A to point B, hey, you good. But that's not your thoughts.
So the failure right there in what you just said, that could have been alleviated. But we're going to talk about that later. But let's just dive into why is it? Why does that even exist?
Why men, fail to have leadership?
Right.
And why is because in today's relationship, it's a serious problem that, when we counsel couples, they complain about. I want him to lead, but he doesn't lead. Then they get frustrated and like, why he's not leading. So let's look at some reasons why men are not leading their relationship.
Well, one of the first things that, for me, that comes to mind is just the fact that they may not know. They may not know how to.
Right. They don't know how to lead.
Yeah. So why do they don't know how?
Who taught them how to lead?
That's great. That's a great point.
Where is this platform to educate men on how to lead? And I think it doesn't exist really in the home. It definitely doesn't exist in school. There's no program that talks about, hey, this is how you be a leader. No, it does not. And then being aware of being a leader in my marriage, in my family, in my home, does not come in my mind. I was thinking about myself. I didn't think about being a leader in the home. I thought about I wanted to get married. I wanted to have kids. But I want to think about I should be the person leading the home. I should be that person. And part of that reason, growing up, I wasn't educated. I didn't see it. So if I'm not educated, don't see it, then I don't know it. And if I don't know it, I can't execute it at all.
So when you say you didn't see it, you mean like no example?
Yeah, there was none at all.
Okay, that's definitely absent from the home.
Right.
Whether you grew up with or without a male figure, we say, in the home.
Right.
There could be still a lack of leadership shown.
Yeah, that goes to another reason, a lack of role models. Who do I look at to help me navigate myself in the relationship so that when I get there, I know how to lead? And if there's no role models going up, because sometimes there's single parent home where there may not be a dad at home. That does not mean it's not a role model. You can still have a role model without actually having a dad in the home. So if you don't have any role model, no cousin, no uncles, no friends, or anything like that, then naturally you're going to struggle in that area because you're not going to know. As kids growing up, often we learn more about what we see versus what we hear. And I don't see any role models growing up as a kid. And I'm probably not going to be a leader. I'm probably going to learn it, if I learn it, the hard way. Going through trials, going through tribulation, going through struggles, going through all these things until finally the light bulb comes on. Oh, I need to be a leader in the home. But I didn't have a role model to, give that example. And I think a lot of men don't have that.
So something you said about a single parent, and if we can discuss, a lot of times we have women that are single parents heading the household. It's so very important that they understand too about the lack of role model. If they don't have one, having a role model for their children to go by. So we often just don't even think about it in that aspect, the importance of it.
Right, because it becomes generational.
Right, and then enrolling our children into boys, girls programs, things of that nature, church, as you say, if they have maybe a family member that is
a church member, somebody in the church that they look up to.
Right.
Because you're not gonna have a role model unless you look up to that person.
That is.
I ain't looking up to him.
So
it's not gonna be a role model.
Yeah, it's got to be someone is a good role model, not just the next available person that you see.
Next available man, you it. No. We need a role model that my son is gonna look up to. So when he get in his relationship, he can demonstrate some of the things he learned growing up.
So it just makes me think that just going back to when we said that you're not having a role model. Say you've grown up, you're a man,
right.
You didn't have a role model. That's just not the excuse just to use, especially now that you have children and that you want them to see and understand what it is and how it looks like leading in a home.
Right. That is so true.
Because we do that sometimes. We'll take on the fact that say, I didn't grow up that way, so we'll use that as an excuse. Why I don't
stay
know.
Where we at.
To stay exactly to stay where we at.
Yeah, I could use myself. I didn't have none of this growing up, but I didn't stay there. I understand, being a leader in the home. I understand being that man in the home. I understand the role that I must play and should play, and it's scripturally based.
Okay.
Because growing up, I didn't know anything about being a leadership. And then when I said scripturally based, it is ordained by God that men is the leader. And
That men are the leader. Yeah.
that's right. And a lot of times, we don't know that. No one ever came and told me, hey, scripturally based, you the man, you're supposed to be a leader. I didn't know that. That's why it's so important to have a relationship with God, so God can give you that information. You read his word, so then you know that, hey, this is ordained by God. So then when you hear that, when I hear that, that means this is something I must do, and this is something I need to do. Because God is telling me this is what I should do as a man. Okay?
Yeah, here again, that goes almost kind of full circle.
It is full circle. It is. They're all connected in some kind of way and stuff, right? But if we can get to that place where we educate men to understand their role in the relationship, so they can be that person, they can be that man, and women will respect and look up to men when they take their rightful place as leaders in their home, in their family, in their relationship. This is scripturally based, ordained by God.
I want to talk about something a little bit different. Let's talk about something that maybe not full circle, maybe like has to do with knowledge. But what if someone is just
lazy, y'all?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
That's another reason.
Yeah, because that comes to mind. What about that? What if someone is just not motivated to actually lead in the home?
That is
or
a hard.
Be a leader.
Out of those things we mentioned, the lazy for me is the most difficult one. Because think about it. You can have the knowledge, you can understand it ordained by God, right? You can have the role models, but for some reason you're not executing your home because you're lazy. That's a hard one. I'm not saying you can't overcome it, but what I am saying is that it has nothing to do with you not knowing it. You just don't want to do it. And then if you don't want to do it, why not? Why you don't want to? Why are you too lazy to be a leader in your home? And for me, it baffles my mind. It's crazy for some man, to sit around and be lazy about being a leader in their home, especially when you have the knowledge that is ordained by God. That is crazy.
It's almost like a continuous forced hand won't move on its own. If you continue to have as a woman pushing that.
Yeah, think about how the woman feels when her man is being lazy in the home about being a leader. Think about that.
Yeah, and
then
we've seen it. We've seen it before several times.
We have seen it. That's why we know it. And so how does the woman react toward a man not being the leader in their home?
They step in. They step in and into that role of leading. And then that's where more conflict exists. Because in the true essence, it says, that, we want to take control, but we
Right.
We really want a man to lead in the home, to be responsible enough to lead in the home. We will step in as women, and do what we need to do for our household. But we want a man to lead.
So I guess I'm confused. If you want the man to lead and you step in and be the leader, then how does that help?
It helps in our minds, and I'm not speaking
in
totality in all women, but just
from a woman's perspective.
It has to move. The household has to move. Things have to.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody has to do it, and
y'all wired in such a way. If somebody got to do it, you'll make it happen.
Gonna make it happen.
But then when you're doing that, how do you feel when you are making it happen? Especially and your man on the sideline, he's not being a leader of the home. Whatever, maybe one of these 4 reasons, maybe all these reasons. So how is the woman feeling when they're stepping in that role that's not even designed by God?
Well, you know what? I would say some love it. Some want to have control in that leadership role. They do. They want to. But the ones that it comes out in frustrations,
right? Where
they're angry and they start to do their own thing. That's where the disconnect is. That they really don't want to be in that position, but they're forced to do it. So it's going to come out in maybe the way they speak to their spouse.
So they'll do it grudgingly.
Right. Or they
they'll
may
do it bitter.
Yeah.
They do it with hate.
Yeah.
They do, and then they look at their man a different way. Like, why you ain't stepping up? I gotta step up. So then it'll create disorder in the home.
Or you may not get those conversations on how do we discuss when we need to make a decision about something.
Right.
The woman may just go ahead and do it on her own.
Won't involve the
I'll
husband
let you
at
know
all.
about it later.
I'll let you know
Yeah.
about it later.
Yeah, because you're not going to have much input in getting it done anyway.
Right. So definitely that's not the place to be, right? But I did hear you say some will enjoy it though.
I think so. I think there are some women who enjoy being the head of their home, and they will, and then some men will go right along with it. They will go along right along with it.
Is that the man that's lazy?
It's possibly those ones that
You going right along with it?
yeah,
To me, that's being lazy because, for me.
and you won't hear much about it because they're fine with it. You won't hear much about it on either party.
Right. So that, for me, when I hear that, that has some function of perhaps their relationship working.
That fits for their home. That fits for their household.
Right. But it's not the will of God, right? Right?
Right.
It's not, when you read scripture, it doesn't say that the woman leads, says the man leads. But in some cases, maybe the minority, right? There's some cases where that is somewhat functional, where it really works.
I would definitely say that. We've seen it in that is functional in their relationship.
Right. I definitely wouldn't advise it. Definitely would not advise it. So, I was thinking, what do women want most of?
In the most out of they're just in a relationship or
What do women
women
want?
want to feel protected. They want to feel loved. They want to feel loved.
They want to feel love. Huh? Was you feeling love in that clip? No. No.
Wasn't feeling loved. Wasn't
Because
feeling.
you weren't being heard.
There
I
you
wasn't
go.
listening.
Was not being heard.
I wasn't being understanding.
That's right.
I wasn't being patient. There was no humility in that at all. Matter of fact, as I was talking, it was all about my thoughts and my
By
feelings.
self. Yeah,
Right.
by self.
So naturally, that course of action, you will not get the feeling that you want, and that is love.
That's right.
And the Bible talks about that. So the other question is, what do men want?
Oh, that's an easy question.
Oh, go for it, girl. What you got?
Men want to be respected. Is that it?
That's
That's
right.
what I thought. Yeah.
You hit it on the
They
nail.
want to be respected.
Men want to be respected. But look at the two things that men look at how different it is that what a man wants and what a woman wants.
Okay.
Because I still think a woman want to be respected, right?
Yeah, of course we do.
And I still think men want to be loved, right?
Right.
Right. But when you look at it like the most
Okay.
thing that a woman look at is for the man to love them. And then the most for a man is to get the respect from a woman.
Right.
But check this out though. So if I want respect, right, what I gotta do?
I need some love.
I gotta love you.
Right.
And it's based on, this is scripturally based, it's based on what God is telling how to be in our marriage. And it tells us that both parties should submit to each other out of reverence for Christ. Okay? So what did that look like? How do I submit to you and how do you submit to me? Because oftentimes when we talk about men and women in relationship and leadership, we often focus on the woman submitting to the man. And that is true. However, when you look at the scripture, the totality of the scripture, it also talks about both parties submitting to each other. So then ask the question, how do a man submit to his partner, to his wife? How did he do that? So let me read the scripture. I want to make sure I get this right.
Just about to say
So
that.
how do these husbands that forget about submitting to the wife, because they often think about the wife submitted to them. So, and it reads, Ephesians 5:25, it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave herself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of the water with the word, so he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy, without blemish. As husbands should love their wives as their bodies, he who loved his wife loved himself. That's how you submit. And remember when I asked you, I said, well, what do women want most from a man? They want this. They want the husband to love them. And when you look at it in the totality of the scripture, and it talks about submitting to each other, God instructs the man first. You're the one that submit first. And think about how the world tells us, oh, women submit. No, men, you submit first. And your submission is loving your wife as Christ loved the church. That's your submission. And when you do that first, then the woman will submit to your leadership. Then the woman will respect you. It doesn't work the other way around. I know we want the respect, and I know we want all those things to come from women, but it comes from the men first. The men first love his wife as Christ loved the church. And if we get that right, then the respect that we want from women, it'll come. And I guarantee you, if you do this right here, your marriage will last. Your relationship will last. Because we're giving our wives, our partner, what they want the most, and that is love. And then when she do that, what you gonna give me, baby?
Melt like butter.
What you gonna give me, baby?
The respect.
The respect that I want.
Right.
I want to be respected.
Yes.
When you submit to me, you're respecting me. When I submit to you, I'm loving you. Ain't that powerful?
That's very powerful.
That is so powerful. And our clip illustrated the complete opposite of what I just said. Did not. You didn't respect me, right? So you told me, you said, well, look, I'm going to get this car.
Yeah.
There ain't no respect there. I'm going to get this car. And then, of course, I swole up then. No, you ain't. You ain't finna get this car. There was no leadership for me that said in this moment in time, while I'm talking to my wife about what she wants, that I'm loving her. And it looks so simple that we didn't do it, but oftentimes we get in these conversations and we don't realize it. Love is not a sometime thing. It's an ongoing thing that continues throughout the relationship. Because think about it, when you argue, most when you argue, it's always about small stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much more that, in so many other directions that clip could have went in a negative way, with more heightened.
Heightened voice.
Yeah.
Get up and leave.
Yeah.
Do the silent treatment. I'm out of here. All those things there.
The disrespect could be at such another level.
Because I guarantee you, in those situations, that the man in that situation is only looking at the disrespect. He's not looking at his failure of loving you, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You telling me what I can't do? You telling me what I can't do?
And
You don't tell me.
The woman is looking at what you're not going to allow me to do.
Right. Right.
I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm an equal partner in this. Right. So definitely, the disrespect is both ways. No one's loving each other.
Right. That's correct. There was disrespect both ways and stuff. And the disrespect was initiated by the man. He initiated. Now, he doesn't know. In that clip, you watch it, you probably don't know it. The disrespect from the man is failing to listen to his woman. his ride or die, his queen, his partner, his everlasting. If anybody outside of God you want to listen to, that is the person you want to listen to. This is the person you promised to be with together forever, everlasting, to death do you part.
Yeah.
And you sit in a conversation as simple as that and don't want to listen? My God.
Right. So, just even knowing that,
So what do we do?
what do we do about it? How do we make that wrong right? It starts way from the beginning of that, just showing that clip. It starts way before that, because it wouldn't even get into that intensity.
Right, definitely stuff. So
I think the major question is, when you talk about a man submitting,
right,
because that is big.
We don't think about submitting to
That's
women.
right.
We don't think about that
We
at all.
don't think about that.
I know if you told me about submitting, I was like, when you gonna submit, Charlie?
Right.
When you gonna submit, Charlie?
And I think that is the key to Porter answering that question.
Right.
That leads into what leadership looks like from the male point of view. From the male point of view.
Right.
And where the failure is.
So
how to combat that.
So what we want to know now is, how do men lead? So we got to get there. We got to educate and show our men how to lead. Okay.
So much in this session alone that talked about. We showed the clip on basically what it looked like, a failure of leadership. I mean, just looking at it from the beginning, you probably didn't think that, and as we discussed it more,
then you see it.
Yeah,
Like,
we talked about not having the knowledge. That's where it's not growing up or not having a role model that shows how to be a leader in a relationship, and then also the model that didn't come full circle was being lazy.
Right, man, that's crazy.
That what you can even do about that. So, and then the components of what can happen when that does fail. So we want to talk about how to rectify the situation.
How to rectify it. But guess what? You got to check us out next week, though.
That's right. Come again and see us on next week while we discuss on how to resolve that, how to find your leadership in your relationship. So thank you guys for joining us today. You just watched RCRC, The Relationship Connection with Ronald and Charlie. We'll see you again next week.